North and South Korea exchange fire. South Korea exchanges artillery with North Korea after live-fire drill ordered by Pyongyang dropped shells over border. North Korea conducted live-fire drill at 3:15 am GMT, firing into disputed waters near a South Korean island. South Korean military and U.S. Marines conducting their own drill responded by firing over the sea boundary. Residents of Yeonpyeong Island evacuated to shelters. There were also no signs that either side was aiming at a target. The drill may be in response to the joint South Korean-U.S. annual springtime drills with the North Seas as preparation for an invasion. U.S. and South Korean military officials call the drill routine. Test fire drills are normal for North Korea, but they usually don't issue warning ahead of time. South Korea has fired shells into North Korean waters after more than 100 shots from a North Korean live-fire drill fell south of the rivals' disputed Western Sea boundary, officials claim. It comes just days after Kim Jong-un's reclusive nation threatened to launch a new form of nuclear power tests and coincidentally during the annual South Korea-US military practice, which North Korea dubs a rehearsal for invasion. The heated artillery exchange was prompted by an unusual warning fax sent from the north to the south, informing them of their live-fire drill. Though it is not unusual for the reclusive nation to practice at sea, South Korean officials were alarmed by the alert, which they claim indicates their hostile intention. According to South Korean military officials, the North fired more than 500 rounds during a 3-hour drill, 100 of which crossed the border. The South fired back 300 rounds from its K-9 self-propelled howitzer batteries, and scrambled F-15 jets. Residents on the South Korean island of Yeonpyeong, located in the battle-stricken Yellow Sea, were evacuated to shelters during the exchange. In 2010, 4 people on the island were killed by North Korean military during a border dispute. The fact that they have sent such a message to us indicates their hostile intention, said Wi Yong-sop, a spokesman for the South Korean Defense Ministry. The aim is to threaten us and rack up tension on the Yellow Sea border and the overall Korean peninsula, he said. No shells from either side were fired at any land or military installations, an official with South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff said. He provided no other details and spoke on condition of anonymity because of office rules. The exchange of fire followed Pyongyang's earlier, unusual announcement that it would conduct the live-fire drills. A move seen as an expression of Pyongyang's frustration at making little progress in its recent push to win outside aid. The North in recent weeks has increased threatening rhetoric and conducted a series of rocket and ballistic missile launches that are considered acts of protest against annual ongoing springtime military exercises by Seoul and Washington. The North calls the South Korea-US annual drills a rehearsal for invasion. The Allies say they're routine and defensive. On Sunday, Pyongyang threatened to conduct a 4th nuclear test at some point, though Seoul says there are no signs of an imminent detonation. After the North's earlier announcement Monday that it would conduct firing drills in 7 areas north of the sea boundary, South Korea responded that it would strongly react if provoked. Pyongyang routinely fires artillery and missiles into the ocean, but it's rare for the country to disclose such training plans in advance. Wi Yong-sub, a deputy spokesman at the South Korean Defense Ministry, said the North Korean message was a hostile attempt to heighten tension on the Korean peninsula. The poorly marked Western Sea boundary has been the scene of several bloody naval skirmishes between the Koreas in recent years. Kang Myong-sung, speaking from a shelter on Yeonpyeong Island, which is in sight of North Korean territory, said that anxious Icelanders were huddled together in shelters. Kang said he didn't see any fighter jets, but he could hear the boom of artillery fire. Last spring, tension spiked after a near-daily barrage of North Korean threats, including warnings of nuclear strikes against Seoul and Washington, following international criticism of Pyongyang's 3rd nuclear test in February of last year. The North has since gradually dialed down its threats and sought improved ties with South Korea in what foreign analysts say is an attempt to lure international investment and aid. There has been no major breakthrough in the North's reported push to win outside aid, however, with Washington and Seoul calling on the North to first take disarmament steps to prove its sincerity about improving ties, analysts say. The North Korean live-fire drills and the country's hints at a nuclear test are meant to express anger and frustration over what the North sees as little improvement in progress in its ties with South Korea and the U.S., said Lim Yul-chol, a North Korea expert at South Korea's Kyungnam University. Lim said the North might conduct a fourth nuclear test and launch other provocations to try to wrest the outside concessions it wants. The Korean peninsula remains in a technical state of war because the 1950 and 53 Korean War ended with an armistice, not a peace treaty. About 28,000 American troops are deployed in South Korea to deter potential aggression from North Korea.